Bill.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Okay, it's 6:30. I'd like to call the meeting of the Physical Services Committee to order for August 17th. Could I have a roll call, please?
Councilor Meyer.
Here.
Councilor Plunkett.
Here.
Councilor Ashline. Here. Councilor Kennedy.
Here.
Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of the August 3rd, 2026 committee meeting, please? Councilor Ashline, Councilor Plunkett.
Councilor Meyer.
Yes.
Councilor Plunkett.
Yes.
Councilor Ashline.
Yes.
Councilor Kennedy.
Yes.
I see no old business. New business under authorizations. Item 1. Craig Rebior, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, received a request from Maggie Ortiz Rosario for permission to clean headstones for veterans at Veterans Park. Mr. Rebior, do you have any information on that?
I do not.
Okay. I had no way to reach out to her, so. You got-
Sorry, not fair to me to say I don't have any information, because I do. Essentially, what you have in front of you, this person reached out. They do this on a volunteer basis. I'm not sure if they have any insurance or anything like that, but we put forward the resolution for the council to decide if we're going to allow this. Assured us that she's done this in several places. The cleaning with the process does not harm. It's nothing harmful, dangerous. It's not going to damage the stones or the grounds around it.
I did have an email from one of the constituents, if I can get to it here. Let's see. I'd like to read this because she wanted me to read it at the meeting. Honorable Mayor and Councilors, I have several questions regarding the request to clean the headstones at Veterans Park. First, why isn't the DPW performing this work? Is the individual making the request properly trained or experienced in cleaning historic grave markers or headstones? If these headstones are located on city property and are owned or maintained by the city, has the council considered the potential liability if a stone is inadvertently damaged during cleaning? Has the condition of each headstone been evaluated before cleaning to determine whether it is stable enough to be cleaned? Will the city require the person performing the work to follow National Park Service and/or Department of Veterans Affairs best practices for cleaning historic or government-issued headstones? Will the cleaning product first be tested on an inconspicuous area of each type of stone? What cleaning methods and materials will be used? Will D2 biological solution or another product appropriate for historic stone be used? Will cleaning be limited to soft nylon brushes, soft cloths, or other non-abrasive methods? Will you be asking for the age, lot information of the D2 being used, and whether it has been stored according to the manufacturer's directions? These headstones are historic memorials that cannot simply be replaced. If they are damaged, I feel that only skilled conservators or individual trained in historic headstone preservation should perform this cleaning if no one in the DPW has the appropriate training or experience. Thank you for considering my concerns. I would appreciate my council reading this or addressing my concerns at the meeting. Best regards, Carol Thompson. So I guess, can you go forward with any of that, Craig, or is that any of that?
I cannot. The council has all the information that I have.
Okay, all right, okay. Any comments, concerns? Councilor Kennedy?
That's fine. So the only thing I know about cleaning headstones, like at all, is that last July 2025, my father had passed away unexpectedly, and we had to get a headstone. And we used Swiggle Monuments, and they gave us a special kind of form. I don't know what it is, and a little baggie basically. You just put a little water in it, and you can use like any kind of brush or whatever, and it doesn't damage the headstone itself. And I know obviously these are newer headstones, newer, stone itself and polish and all these things. So I didn't know if, you know, that's something that the DPW or anybody would, like, look into before doing this kind of thing, like going to, like, the Oswego County Monuments business and inquiring about what kind of, like, cleaning solution that they have to use on these headstones. So,
That's, I believe that's reasonable. We could reach out to this person and this volunteer and get more information on the means and methods and exactly what chemicals, and we certainly could reach out to Sean over to Oswego County Monuments and see what he suggests. That's reasonable, I believe.
I can get the actual, what it is, what kind of solution it is. If you need that from me too, I can certainly do that for you.
Yeah,
as
we
well.
certainly don't want these to be, they are newer monuments, you know, they're not in too poor shape, but keep them clean and maintained, and then on a volunteer basis is great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's helpful. So, yeah, I think that's reasonable to make sure the right means and methods and right chemicals are being used.
Okay.
Councilor Fitzgibbons, do you have?
Just as a, to clarify, I think they're neither grave markers nor headstones, which would be there if there was remains there.
Correct.
They're monuments.
Correct.
And the history of the locations in that site, I think date, because I know, because I worked, my grandfather, a career soldier, created the first veteran park area there, next to Barrett Insurance. That was the little rail building that was left on the site. There was a green park before the building of Linear Park and the construction of St. Luke's Apartments. That the full Veterans Park was created with commemorative monument stones at that time, and I think it was probably sometime mid-70s is when I think the genesis, 75 to 80. So you know, I think just for clarity point of view, that's their history. You know, there's no remains there. They're not. It's not a cemetery. They're monuments for significant service and dedication to our country. So
Yes.
they, obviously, all due respect should be given. But I think putting them in context, I think that if we can engage with some repair of those to keep them looking right, that would be appropriate, following the guidelines that would be consistent with their care.
I think we could amend this to state that it would have to be cleared by DPW to make sure everything is proper, if that's, I'm sorry. Councilor Thompson.
So whether they're gravestones, headstones, or monuments, they can't be over cleaned, because if you over clean them, you actually do damage to them. So they're not actually made to be cleaned every single year. So keep that in mind. I do recommend maybe reaching out to like a historical society. Many of them have people that have been professionally trained in how to clean monuments and headstones. I know Halfshire up in Pulaski has a list of people that would be qualified, but I'm sure there's others that we could reach out to. That might be a better avenue to take.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I agree 100%. Sean Boshart, the owner of Oswego County Monuments, is, you know, is a wonderfully engaged local business. I think, you know, with that, whether it's Halfshire and Pulaski or a local business here, either one of those would have good insight as to how we can be good curators of these commemorative items in our community.
To be fair to Commissioner Rebior, we could table this for 2 weeks and come back if you would have time to gather more information on it. If that
Counselor, I think that would be the appropriate thing to do at
Yeah,
this
I
time.
think so. That way nobody's under pressure and we'll get the answers that we need. So if everybody's okay, could I have a
Make a
motion?
motion to table this?
Okay, I have a second. Councilor Ashline. Have a roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
Thanks, Craig.
You're welcome.
Item 2, Craig Rebior, Commissioner of Public Works and Parks and Recreation, received a request to accept the donation of a bench from Stephanie Hernandez to be located on the west side of Cahill Pier. Mr. Rebior.
This is, again, a standard, you see these often, the standard bench donations. This comes at an opportune time as we are, with the Killapere being as new as it is, with the weather conditions out there, the benches that were initially placed out there weathered quickly. So getting these newer benches with the composite material, this is opportune time for this donation.
Excellent. Any questions, comments? Could I have a motion, please? Counselor Kennedy, Counselor Ashline, roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. The Office of Economic Development received a request from Becky Birch for use of public space to host an East Mohawk Street block party on Sunday, September 13th, 2026, from 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. Anyone here to speak?
Hello, everyone. A little bit short. So if you just indulge me for a moment, I have actually volunteered on the cleaning of historical tombstones and gravesites in the Oswego Town Cemetery. The description, the outline in that letter about how they should be cared for down to the cleaning solution is correct, and the person who's actually led that project and is actually a specialist in that is Candace Hawk, H-A-A-K, in the Department of History at SUNY Oswego. So you don't have to go to Pulaski. Dr. Hawk is right here. She has led several programs. She has the materials, and I'm sure she'd be happy to consult with you. Candace Hawk, H-A-A-K, in the Department of History at SUNY Oswego. On to the block party. So we will be having essentially a community potluck. We need the street closed off. We have a lot of children in the neighborhood, and we're going to be inviting as many neighbors as we can. Y'all are invited. Come on over. And so we do have games and such, and we do want to make sure that it is safe in the neighborhood for the kids and all of the neighbors. So we just like a road closure, if that's okay.
Any questions, comments? Counselor Fitzgibbons.
I will say that Becky Birch has some spectacular neighbors as well.
Let it be known that John Fitzgibbons lives next door to me.
That is my next door neighbor. I am looking forward to the block party. We've had 10 block parties consecutively.
Yeah.
We love our neighbors, and Becky Birch is a PhD at SUNY Oswego, very good contributor to our community, very active in a lot of programs in the community. And certainly her offer to come up with an expert from her Rolodex is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I got info, yeah. Is there
Excellent.
anything else you'd like to know?
Any other comments? Oh, I'm sorry.
Is this
Counselor
part?
Walczak.
Is this part of the Renaissance?
Yes, yes, we have a neighborhood pride grant for the block party, for a gigantic dumpster that is currently in front of my house, corner gardens, et cetera. Yeah.
Would it be possible to waive this since it's part of the nonprofit through the Renaissance because they're paying the $150 fee? Would it be possible to waive the $150 fee since it's part of the Renaissance?
Waive fees? No.
You don't know?
No,
Okay.
not to waive fees.
Well, I thought with the Renaissance, because it's a nonprofit, no? Okay.
No, I will tell you, this would not be the year to waive fees, because I paid it every other year. I will tell you, I know that we have talked about fees, because I think the byproduct, and I can be an experienced person speaking to this, the byproduct of block parties in traditional neighborhoods, 1 and 2, is such a good outcome for the community that hopefully as the subcommittee that's working on fees will take that into consideration because it's of great value for neighborhood building.
Any other comments, questions? Got a motion, please? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Ashline. Roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
Item 4, the Office of Economic Development received a request for use of public space from Terrence Gorman of the Oswego Rotary Club to host a peace pole dedication ceremony on Saturday, September 26, 2026, from 4:30 to 5:45 p.m. Sir.
Thank you. On behalf of the Oswego Rotary Club, we respectfully request the support of the City of Oswego for the dedication of Peace Pole at Veterans Park. The Common Council previously approved the installation of the Peace Pole. The Peace Pole project is a global initiative that promotes peace, unity, and goodwill across cultures and communities. Founded by Shisha Goi in Japan in 1955, following the devastation of World War II. The project shares the message, "May peace prevail on earth," which now appears on more than 250,000 peace poles around the world. The proposed 8-foot peace pole would display the message, "May peace prevail on earth," in multiple languages to reflect the heritage of many people who have settled in Oswego. The pole would serve as a lasting reminder to cultivate peace in thought, word, and action. We'd like to request the opportunity to hold a community dedication ceremony for the peace pole. The dedication event would be a brief public gathering to formally recognize the peace pole as a symbol of peace, unity, and goodwill for the Oswego community. The ceremony would include welcome remarks, a short explanation of the meaning of the peace pole and its message, participation by Rotary members, city representatives, veterans, community leaders, and local residents, as well as music, prayer, or reflection, and an official unveiling. We hope the event will provide a meaningful moment for residents to come together, reflect on the importance of peace, and celebrate a shared commitment to building a more respectful and connected community. Thank you for your consideration and for your continued support of projects that strengthen community spirit in Oswego.
Any comments, questions? I think it's a great idea. I think
Thank you.
It's a very good thing, and I think it'll be good for the city. Could I have a motion, please? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Ashline. Roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Ashline?
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 5, the Office of Economic Development received a request from Kristen Shanley Graves to host the annual Trinity Turkey Trot on Sunday, November 8th, 2026, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Is there? I guess there is.
Yes, good evening, how are you? So this would be the 12th year. It's the annual Turkey Trinity Trot. There's also a gobble waddle for the youngers who don't want to do the whole 5K. We have a lot of student participants, and as well as community, usually have over 100 people involved in the event, and the Hibernians hosts us and allows us to use their facility, which is why we're looking to use that road, and the run goes through Kingsford Woods area. It's a 3-miler. So we're hoping to do it again this year. My daughter's really excited to be here.
I know my great-grandson was 3 years old last year, and he participated. It was kind of cool to watch the little kids run up the block and come
Yes,
back.
he must have done the waddle.
That was a lot
yes.
of fun. So it's a good thing. Any other questions, comments? Motion? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Kennedy. Roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Ashline?
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 6, the Office of Economic Development received a request for use of public space from Jean Ritz to host the Ritz Kids Crush Cancer 5K. Costumes for Cancer on Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Is there anyone here? No, let's see if I got something here. I reached out. I thought she was going to be here tonight, but evidently she couldn't show up. And so I don't have, it's going to be located at Gibby's. All proceeds are for Peaceful Remedies, located in the McRobey Building. Any other questions, comments? Motion, please. Counselor Kennedy, Counselor Plunkett. Roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Ashline?
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy?
Yes.
Item 7, the city clerk's office received a request for use of public space from Harleen Growall on behalf of Paws Across Oswego County Rescue to place signage in select locations in order to promote an upcoming 5K. Is there anyone here?
Lori McDermott, and I'm actually doing both.
Oh, okay.
On the 5K and the golf tournament, so the 5K is coming up soon at the end of the month, and they have a couple signs they want to put out. We have more like 15 signs we would like to put out to raise funds for a golf tournament. We're having a 5K that we're also doing to raise funds for Paws Across Oswego County. One of the rescues in town, things have changed a lot with all the New York State guidelines, so we're in desperate need of raising funds. And this is the sign.
Okay, so that's for the next
for the
resolution.
golf.
That's for the golf, okay, that's the next resolution. So right now, we're dealing with the 5K.
Okay, the 5K.
Okay, the
similar to
5K
this, it
is-
just announces the 5K.
Is the 29th, correct?
Correct.
August 29th,
August 29th.
okay. Any questions, comments? Motion, Counselor Fitzgibbons.
Is there a cycle for when the signs will go up and when they'll come down?
Yes, the 5K will go up as soon as possible and come down on the 30th after the event is over.
So August 30th?
Yes.
Okay. And the golf, what's your guess on that?
Okay, so that's September 12th, so I would like to put them up now and have them come down on the 13th. And we're looking at mostly in the parks, across from the country club and the city's space, and Shapiro Park, west, east. I can't remember the other ones I put down, but basically I think they're the parks.
So we might be talking total between both events, 10 signs?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah,
Yes, because some people are putting them on private properties, so
Okay.
it'll be more around town. We made 15 of each, but they're not all going in town.
Okay.
And they will cover, we cover the whole county, so.
Right.
Any other questions? Counselor Kennedy.
Thank you. So there's two different signs, correct?
There are two different signs.
Okay, so one's for the golf.
One's for the 5K
and one
and
for
announces
the
it,
golf.
yes, which is actually being held in Fulton, Polish.
Polish? Okay.
So the event is in Fulton, and this event is at Tamarack in a
Okay, so, all right, okay, never mind, I got it, okay, thanks, thanks.
I'm sorry I don't have a picture of the
No,
other
no, no,
sign.
that's fine,
That's okay.
that's fine.
Any other questions? Comments? Okay, so we're going to do a motion for the first one, then we'll do a
Okay.
motion for the second. Could I have a motion, please? Counselor Plunkett, Counselor Ashline, roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
Okay, item 8, City Clerk's Office received request for use of public space from Harleen Grohl on behalf of Paws Across the Oswego County Rescue to place 15 signs around the city to promote the Four Paws Golf Tournament on Saturday, September 12th, 2026. So you pretty much explained what you're going to do.
Yes,
so.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, no, that's all
Did
right.
two together.
Any other questions, comments?
I just,
Counselor Kennedy.
sorry,
sorry.
I just wanted, no, you're fine. So I just wanted to say, Paws Across Oswego County has been a great resource. When I first got my dog 14 years ago, they helped with his neuter vet bill, and at that time, I didn't have 2 pennies to rub together, so I really appreciate the work that they all do, and I know times have changed, and you have a different building out on Clark's Corners.
Yes.
And it's a great facility. I took my dog there before he passed, and it's just a beautiful location now, and so I want to say, just thank you for all the work you do, and
Thank
that's
you.
great.
Thank you. We try to take in some of the animals that need more medical needs and stuff too, so that, means you have to raise more funds in order to have them healthy before they go out to families.
Counselor Fitzgibbons.
I was just going to make the comment, between both resolutions, we're talking 10 signs.
Yes, so I said 15, but, I'm only going to be putting 2 up for the 5K in the
Sure.
city of Oswego, and then probably the 8, because I already handed out a bunch of signs to
And I put
private
them up and
property.
take them down, sort of understanding that was there. I think that's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Good, thank you.
Could I have a motion, please? Counselor Kennedy, Counselor Ashline. Roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
Item 9.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you want to participate.
The city clerk's office received a request for use of public space from Stephen Phillips on behalf of Porch Fest to place 4 3x5 vinyl signs and 25 2x3 lawn signs at various locations promoting Porch Fest 2026. Sir.
Good evening, everyone. First, I guess I owe you all an apology. This is the first year we have formally asked for permission and I want to explain why. The first year we put signs up for Porch Fest was during Mayor Barlow's first year. And at Mayor Barlow's instructions, he said there was no need for us to ask for the formality of putting up the sign. He said, just go ahead and put it up 2 weeks before and take it down the day after. And that's what we've been doing. With all of the things that are going on now, I thought we better come in and formally request permission since the times have changed. So we do traditionally put up 4 signs at the 4 entrances to the city. And then we have 25 lawn signs. Not all of them go in public space. The ones that go in public space are primarily over by 104 and by the Big Lot stores where there's a lot of traffic. We try to put them there. They go up traditionally 2 weeks before the event, and then we have faithfully removed them by the Tuesday after the event. Most of the time they're removed on Monday, but I'm getting older, and sometimes it takes me 2 days to take them down as opposed to 1 day. Any questions for me?
Any questions, comments?
And by the way, we have 79 bands this year for the event. This is our 11th year, all volunteer. The performers all donate their time and talent, and the committee donates its time, and obviously the homeowners provide the hospitality in the front porch or the front lawn. It's really become quite a good event for the city.
It has been in the past, I know that, so it's a great community event. No questions, comments?
I'll ask a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Thompson.
So the 3-foot by 5-foot finals signs, you put those up previously, or are those new?
No, they've been up for 10 years now.
Okay, so they don't block like view or anything like that?
No, you know, by St. Luke's where there's that, pretty much where the raceway puts their sign, that's where we put one of them. We put a second one in the little park that's maybe 10th Street in East Bridge, that little park that's got the flags.
Yep.
There's another one that goes down near Rabies, or across from Rabies in that little area there. And there's one that goes at the corner where Dunkin' Donuts is, but not right on the corner, back almost where the entrance is to the walk that goes on the walking bridge.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Motion, please. Councilor Plunkett. Councilor Kennedy, roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 10, the city clerk's office received a request for use of public space from Lisa Lateem on behalf of the Oswego County Suicide Prevention Coalition to place 20 signs in various locations for Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Is there anyone here? Oh, I guess there is.
Hello, my name is Lisa, and I am from the Suicide Prevention Coalition. I'm the manager. And September is Suicide Awareness Month, which you probably know or don't know. We're doing a proclamation coming up shortly.
Can you put the microphone up
Yeah.
here? Sorry.
Sorry. So what a couple of years ago, we did this, and it was very well received by the community. And what we're requesting is putting up just positive affirmation signs. We have about 10 different ones. These are just 2 that I brought. One says you matter, says you're worthy of love and happiness, and they say other things like be kind, be happy, and they're just really promoting positive mental health and positive affirmations. Because it's the month of September, we'd like to put them in parks, and we'd like to put them in places that are kind of like high-traffic places. He was talking about the medians, places like that. We'd like to put 20 signs in different locations, in Brightback, in East Park or what one's that? Washington Square, Franklin Park, and then we'd like to put some in the median by Clarion, and then the median out on 10th Street that he was talking about, and out by St. Luke's. And the coalition would be responsible to place them about September 1st, and then we would remove them October 1st. And we would tend to them. If they were falling over, or if they, something was wrong with them, we would take care of them.
Okay. Counselor Ashline.
I noticed they have QR codes. Where are the QR codes direct to?
The QR code goes to SAMHSA, which is I knew someone was going to ask me that, so I had read it. It's Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. So it takes you there where you can get all kinds of resources and information, including the 988 number.
Thank you.
Counselor Thompson.
I'm looking at the list of locations.
Yeah, it doesn't add up.
Yes, it doesn't add
It
up.
doesn't add up. It's supposed to be 20, so the last 3 are the ones that I took off of there. I
Okay.
apologize.
My concern was the Fort location, so
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. I took off the Fort location, and then the one, I think there was one near Liberty Street, but if I can put it in the, down in Veterans Park, that would be fine. I apologize.
Thanks.
Math's not my thing.
You're fine.
But anyway, there's, like I said, there's about 6 more. I know that I sent a picture so you all could see what they look like. There's 2 of them. And the coalition, like I said, we would place them and we would remove them.
Any other questions, comments? Motion, please. Counselor Kennedy, Counselor Plunkett. Roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I see no more items on the agenda. With that, I'd like a motion to adjourn the Physical Services Committee, please. Counselor Ashline, Counselor Kennedy, roll call, please.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Plunkett.
Yes.
Counselor Ashline,
Yes.
Counselor Kennedy.
Yes.
At this time, I'd like to call to order the Administrative Services Committee. Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Plunkett,
Here.
Counselor Meyer,
Here.
Counselor Fitzgibbons,
Here.
Counselor Lonzak,
Here.
Counselor Ashline.
Here.
Could I get a motion to approve the minutes of the August 3rd, 2026 committee meeting, please? Counselor Lautensack, Counselor Meyer.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Fitzgibbons,
Yes.
Counselor Lonzak,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline.
Yes.
Is there any old business? If not, we'll move on to new business. Item 1 under authorization. City Engineer Liz Kressler requests authorization for the City Chamberlain to complete 2 transfer of funds in the total amount of $40,500 to cover costs associated with the High Dam hydroelectric facility. City
Hello.
Engineer, hi, Liz.
So basically, we're just asking for a transfer to move the money from one location to another we're moving it from funds that was earmarked for vehicle purchase last year and clothing to move it over for contracted services and repairs that are needed to the actual units.
Counselor Fitzgibbons?
Would this be for the appraisals for the High Dam, the contracted services, evaluation and appraisals that need to happen?
They are not necessarily earmarked for that, but
Okay.
it probably will become part of that fee.
Because I have had some conversation with Mike Riley about some appraisals that will be necessary.
Yes.
I didn't know whether these were that.
I think this particular money was earmarked for purchase of oil and grease for the units, and then they are earmarking some of it for unit inspections as well.
Okay.
So we also have some other repairs that they're trying to get done before that, so.
Any other questions or comments? Not, could I get a motion, please? Counselor Ashline, Counselor Lautensack.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Fitzgibbons,
Yes.
Counselor Lonsack,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline.
Yes.
Thank you, Liz. Item 2 under authorization. The city chamberlain requests authorization from the common council to complete a budget amendment in the amount of $60,000 to the city chamberlain contracted services account to retain financial consulting services until the end of the year. You all read your packet. Due to unforeseen circumstances involving the operations of the city chamberlain office, it's become necessary to retain the services of a financial consultant to assist with the development of the 2027 operating budget with the audit team from Drescher and Malecki. We've used them in the past. Obviously, this was not budgeted in the 2026 operating budget. Any questions or comments? Can I get a motion, please? Counselor Lautensack, Counselor Meyer.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Fitzgibbons,
Yes.
Counselor Lonsack,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline.
Yes.
Item 3 under authorization. Fire Chief Paul Canzone requests authorization for the city chamberlain to accept and adopt the 2026 Oswego County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan update. Chief Canzone?
Councilors, so this, like Councilor Plunkett said, this is to update and to adopt the latest version of the county hazard mitigation plan. This plan is, by adopting it, it'll make us qualified for grant funding, particular to vulnerabilities to our public infrastructure, critical facilities, natural hazards. So flooding, power outages, things like that. Once we adopt this, we'll become eligible to apply for more grants. So there's no fee, there's no fiscal impact. And this gets updated, I think once every 5 years. So.
Right. Any questions for the chief or comments? If not, can I get a motion, please? Counselor Ashline, Counselor Meyer.
Counselor Plunkett,
Yes.
Counselor Meyer,
Yes.
Counselor Fitzgibbons,
Yes.
Counselor Lonsack,
Yes.
Counselor Ashline.
Yes.
Authorization number 4. Fire Chief Paul Canzone requests authorization for the city chamberlain to accept a Shinneman Foundation Community Enrichment Grant in the amount of $1,500 to support the department's Safe Oswego Community Risk Reduction Initiative. Chief?
Yep, thank you. So we were lucky enough to receive a Shinneman Community Enrichment Grant in the amount of $1,500. We're going to use that money to purchase smoke alarms to distribute and install in residences in the city. There's no local match, and there's just a little bit of housekeeping work to do to manage the grant, which we'll handle in-house. So we're going to buy smoke alarms with this money.
Perfect. Win-win.
Yep.
Questions or comments? Counselor Meyer?
Is that going to be for like low income or just anyone that needs one, or?
We're going to, it's hard for us to differentiate. We don't have metrics or controls in place right now for the program. Certainly willing to discuss that. Probably be difficult for us to assess, like, we'll be doing community events like farmers market. People can call the fire station. We're not going to turn anybody away. If someone needs smoke alarms, it's we'll go install them, so.
Okay.
Yep.
Counselor Kennedy?
How would somebody find out about, like, once you have all this, like, the funding and you have the supplies and everything, would they have to, call you to find out, or would there be, like, a social media thing? Like, how would somebody find out about, this is a great program, I just didn't know how, like, you're going to roll it out or whatever.
Yep, great question. We've already rolled out the program. We do have a small supply of smoke alarms now and carbon monoxide alarms. We've promoted it on social media. We've done a couple press releases. We'll be doing city events, tabling, and things like that. So definitely willing to accept some help with that. But people can call the fire station or email us. Probably a good idea to put it on the city website as well, so we'll work on that.
Great. Counselor Lautensack?
With this grant, how many will you be able to purchase?
I'm not sure of the cost. We'll need more. We have applied for some other grants to help this be a sustainable program for us. So So we'll keep doing it. I think smoke alarms are around $20 a piece right now on state contracts, so, however, I can't do the math real quick, but, you know, it'll help. It'll help for sure. You know, we'll look for more grant funding.
Any other questions or comments? Can I get a motion, please? Counselor Ashline, Counselor Lautensack.
Counselor Plunkett?
Yes.
Counselor Meyer?
Yes.
Counselor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Counselor Lonsack?
Yes.
Counselor Ashline?
Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 5 under authorization, Counselor John Fitzgibbons requests discussion regarding the sewer and water rates. Counselor?
Good. Thank you, Counselor Plunkett. Tonight, we're going to put out for our discussion an issue that was brought to us as we assumed office, which was a historic inadequacy that came with our fund balances for our sewer and water services. The history of that has been, we have since 2012 has gone from $10.7 million to $6.2 million by declining the balance by our rate being inadequate. How did our rate become inadequate? Well, our rate has declined and has been cut 3 times in that same period. So we have to really, we've been put to the task of coming up with equitable rates for ratepayers. As we've tried to look at the simple solutions for that, ratepayers and taxpayers are 2 different populations. Some are do both, pay taxes and use services that involve a rate. We have outside rate users, and we have exempt properties that don't pay taxes. So all of these potential sources of revenue and charges have different aspects of rate development that we need to be conscious of. As I've looked at the simple spreadsheet of solving the rate problem, which is simply taking the math of how much money taxpayers should pay in their rate, I did not feel as though I had an adequate command of what the outside tax ratepayers, the ones that weren't taxpayers, were paying, and whether it was equitable, or the exempt properties or the non-tax paying properties, as to whether we embedded the right costs for what the ownership, maintenance, and the development of a sewer and water system should be in our rate. So with those questions, I, with the assistance of the administration, started down the road of talking about how we can better command this information as legislators to make an equitable decision for our community. And I then went to other communities. I spoke to the city of Auburn and how they developed their rate and how they developed the cost of their services to their ratepayers to be equitable to their taxpayers. I spoke to legislators in the city of Geneva, asked them how they tackled this problem. And they all have used outside consultants to help them do that. While I understand the use of those kinds of services carry costs, I think we do the community a disservice without listening to the benefits of that, what that can offer, and make a valued decision on what that service could mean for our community. So with that, I reached out to Stephen Wadvogel, who's agreed to join us tonight, who can speak of how that service applies to a community like ours. So Stephen Wadvogel is with GHD and has great experience in that, but using that as a starting point, hopefully that'll give you a good opportunity to start.
Sure. Thank you, Councilman. Thank you for welcoming me here. It's a joy to be here, it really is. I don't presume to know the nuances of the challenges you face, but I can attest to having worked with many communities like your city on similar challenges. So I did not exactly know what your concerns or what your questions might be. So I'm happy to engage in a discussion about the values, the benefits, the costs, the process, whatever you'd like to talk about. But to frame that discussion, if you find it helpful, I did prepare a very brief presentation. I don't know if you have that in your package or not.
It was emailed to all the counselors. I think you should have it in your email.
We do. It would have been nice to have the TV set up so that way the audience could also see it as well.
Yeah. We don't, again, not knowing what I was going to find here today and really just being here to try to assist you make a difficult decision. Admittedly, nobody likes to expend funds unnecessarily. I put that together literally this morning just to try to frame the discussion, and despite not having it on a screen, if you think it's useful, I can walk through that very quickly. You can raise questions as we walk through it, or we can just jump right to your questions, whatever your pleasure is. I'm happy to try to make this useful and valuable time tonight.
Steve, why don't you use it as a talking point?
Okay.
And certainly, it's a prop that you can talk through all of what's on
Sure.
the page.
So for the benefit of people in the room that can't see it, I prepared 8 slides. The first slide is just a cover slide, and the last slide is just a team slide. So it's really just 6 slides that have kind of material content. And as I jump into it, I will admit to you that although GHD has been working with you for many years, I have not, okay? My area's expertise is in this kind of financial world of water and wastewater. And I've been here and I've met with the new city engineer and past city engineer on your lead program. But I haven't really engaged with the city much beyond that. So I did a little research, I did a little reading, and I put together some bullet points of what I perceived, kind of at arm's distance, what your challenges are right now. I did have the pleasure of speaking with the council president on one occasion, and he articulated some concerns. So as I understand it, like all of your contemporaries, you've got aging infrastructure, and you're making investments, and unfortunately, most, I might even say all upstate New York cities are way behind the capital curve. Infrastructure has been aging for over 100 years. We haven't been reinvesting to keep up with the deterioration and the depreciation. And now we're facing, lots of infrastructure investment in the coming years. If you layer on top of that new regulations such as the lead and copper rule improvements, which, if I recall correctly, you're looking at tens of millions of dollars to replace the lead in the city. And pardon me if I speak out of turn. It's a major challenge for you and all of your sister cities around upstate New York and western New York. These regulatory mandates, you didn't ask for them. And although they are well-intentioned and the aspirations are very admirable, there's no funding that has really effectively come with this. You have received at least one grant for lead, but it really is a drop in the bucket when you look at the total investiture required. So that's a big challenge. You have a rate structure that has been in place for many, many years. And although over years the rates have been raised, and then as I understand that they've been cut, the actual apportionment of which rate payers, which customer groups are paying into the city relative to where the costs are derived from, no one's looked at that for a long time. And what happens normally, because it's pretty common, is a city or a water department or sewer department will raise rates just across the board, 3% across the board, 5% across the board. And over time, that starts to skew which customers are paying a greater or lesser amount of revenues. Then you introduce, I know you have several bulk customers, you have several large industrial customers, You have some municipal wholesale customers. And again, I don't know all of the history, but I understand that those agreements have been in place maybe for decades, may have been signed or agreed under completely different circumstances, different financial pressures, and therefore most likely are out of balance in some form. And you really want to ensure that you're generating revenue, sufficient revenue, so your system is sustainable in a fair, equitable, and transparent way. Let's see. You also have the challenge, which is not totally unique. You have a large percentage of your customer base that are non-metered. In other places, we call them flat rate. I don't know if you call them flat rate here. But that creates additional difficulties when you're trying to allocate costs. So I'll move on to kind of the theory of water rates and sewer rates. I titled that slide, How Utility Rates Are Set. There are well-established industry standards and guidance, both in the water industry and in the wastewater industry. So the American Water Works Association has issued its manual number 1, its manual of practice number 1, which is rates and fees and charges. And it's about 250 pages long, and it's very complicated. It's way too complicated for a city such as yours, but it's a mature system that has been tried and tested in hundreds of court cases. Okay? What I've observed many times is that cities such as yours, who sell water outside the boundaries on a wholesale level, more often than not, there's simply an arbitrary markup, which over time becomes less and less justified. And some of your neighbors, not too far away, have ended up in court. And I've had to deal with the repercussions of that when a judge sets a rate rather than a well-established kind of accounting of costs. So the first step is we look at what is required. That's called revenue requirements. In the industry, there's lots of lingo, which is, people want to sound smart, but they're really not that smart. So there's this allocation of your revenue requirements over a period of time. Normally, we would look out 5-10 years, because if you do this exercise, you want to set yourself up for success, not for the next budget cycle, but for the next decade or beyond. Also, you want to set up a methodology which is repeatable. So once it's done, the city can kind of embrace that, accept it, and then just refresh it every year at a much lower cost than having to reset the whole thing. And generally, you can do that yourselves internally. Once the system's in place, update the numbers each year, reset the rate as necessary, be able to justify it, and so on. So revenue requirements, what must you fund? Number 2, the cost of service. And this is the crux of it, really. The cost of service analysis, I mentioned AWWA. On the wastewater side, the American Water Federation has established Manual 27 for the sewer rates and charges. So those 2 manuals of practice are our guide. And in those manual of practice, there is a methodology of taking your operational cost, dividing it into certain types of functions, so like water treatment, water pumping, water storage, distribution, fire protection, meter reading, administration. All of these are what they call functional categories. And then each of those categories is assigned back to your residential class, your commercial class, your industrial class, maybe your wholesale customers, in, as I said, a mature process which has been tested in the courts, so that you can divide up which customers are actually causing you to spend money. What does it cost to serve the neighboring town. So your budget is split up into those costs so you can determine what it costs to serve a residential customer versus a commercial customer. So that's the cost of service, to identify that. The last step is to structure a rate, and there's all kinds of rate structures, but the outcome is to structure a rate so that you generate revenue from a customer class which is commensurate with the cost of serving that class, so that the residential customers generate sufficient revenue to cover the cost that your city incurs to serve residential customers. That becomes most important for your bulk and your wholesale customers. Inside the city, it's not that important, and you really don't want to set up kind of a rate war among your customers inside the cities. You want to look at it, but when you set a rate with a legitimate cost recovery and administrative markup for your outside customers, you need that to be fair and equitable so that if you ever were challenged in a court of law, it'll stand up, okay? If it's not going to be justified in a court of law, then you take on greater risk. I'll move on to the next slide, rate structure as a policy decision. So there is no water rates, particularly for a city department, allow for a lot of discretion by your body, by the city council, on how you set rates. And normally during this exercise, we would walk your body or maybe your staff and your other employees through what we call a policy and pricing workshop. So what is the value that the city cherishes? Or what is the policy that you want to enact in setting rates? And I've listed a few of them there. And it may not be immediately intuitive, but as you work through these items, and I'll list a couple, revenue sufficiency. So what that might mean is if you have bonds out there, you may have a debt service coverage covenant to your bondholders, and you may have a certain ratio. You need, well, I won't tell you what need to do, but I would suggest that you want to meet that coverage every year in perpetuity, right? And so it would be helpful for you to forecast revenues for the next 10 years or 20 years and match that coverage to what type of revenues and expenses you're looking at. So sufficiency is one. Equity or fairness. This is probably the one that I see most problematic. Again, particularly when you have outside city customers, because they are your customer that doesn't receive all of your services. They only receive the water. They don't generally receive meter services, administration. They own their own water pipes. They maintain their own storage tanks, their own water systems. So they normally have to charge their own rates on top of what they purchase from you. That's where the most of the controversial issues arise, is when a wholesale customer feels that the owner is unfairly charging them. So it's good to examine that carefully. Affordability. The way you build rates can impact your minimum users, your senior citizens. It can have a different impact on large commercial or small commercial. Those affordability issues might be really important to this city. In some cities, it's paramount. I work in Buffalo, I work in Syracuse, completely different than your city, I understand. But affordability is a crisis in some of these. And so they're restructuring rates to allow for a lifeline rate or some affordability minimums. Industrial development. My personal opinion is that water rates is not what you want to build your economic development strategy on, but it is a piece. If you're able to offer an industrial rate that attracts industries that are water intensive, in some situations that's advantageous for the rest of the community. So there are these things: simplicity, revenue stability. So if you go through seasonal variations, if you have a very wet year and nobody waters their lawn or nobody fills their pool or whatever, and your water sales are down 10% because it's a real wet year, or maybe there's a real dry year and your water sales are up 15%, you can have large revenue swings. Again, I don't know that you experience that, but those are some things that you would want to examine when you set your rate to create a stable base of revenue. Transparency, there's, different people have mixed opinions on that. My opinion is that every customer who looks at their bill, they should understand it. They should know why they were charged, what they were charged for, and nobody should feel like it's not understandable and fair. And you can actually achieve that if you do it right. Simplicity, another thing is some rate structures are too complicated. Your billing system, your accounting systems might not accommodate them. You may have been billing the way you've been billing for 30 years. I might come in with a great idea and your system can't accommodate it. So all of these things are policy drivers, which most people don't think about, but your water rates can affect many of these things if you structure them properly. So that's my spiel on policy. The next one is the scope. So I did provide a proposal a couple months ago at the request of John, and I think your purchasing manager, Mike, as well. And you must have that in front of you, I imagine. This is just a listing of the steps that we proposed we think would be helpful to you. I won't go through that right now, but I would certainly, answer any questions that you might have. The next one, I titled it "The Value of an Independent Expert." And I've mentioned some of these things already, and this is always a little awkward for me because I genuinely believe in what I do, and I genuinely believe that I've been able to help many New York communities deal with periods of financial crisis and set them on a path towards financial stability and health in their water and wastewater funds, okay? However, I'm not a great salesman. Like, I'm not up here trying to sell you. I believe that I can help you, and these are some of the thoughts I think that if you were so inclined to work with me, I think I would help you build a defensible approach, okay? And for me, because I work with a lot of government officials across all New York State, one of the things that I like to do is I like to go to bed at night and I like to feel good about what I did and the decisions that I made. And I always need a rationale, a good rationale. In your position, this cannot be separated from the political process. This is a political process. But I want to help people in your difficult position understand the nuances, the challenges, and deal with a very difficult decision the best way possible. So you can look anybody in the eye and say, this is why we did it. If I'm not doing that, then I haven't done my job. So that's kind of the heartbeat of what I'm doing is I want to build, because if the town sues you, you're going to call me, you're going to say, Stephen, you got to come to court and defend this, right? And that happens, unfortunately, because long history of arbitrary rates, okay? Fortunately, the couple cities that he mentioned, well as a bunch of others, we've never been there, because what we've done is we've sat down with the towns, we've explained the rationale, and whether the rate has gone up or stayed the same, every town has ultimately agreed. Because they can see the rationale, it's open, it's transparent, it's defensible. Independent. I do think there is some merit in me being a third party. I'm not vested in your situation here, and so I can speak to you directly. I'll just put it, which I always will. I will speak to you directly. I will speak to you based on the industry's kind of guidance with a suitable situation to deal with your particular challenges, because every city's a little bit different. You may have historic deals with different industries that we need to look at, and the way you resolve those might be a little different than other cities. So practiced, we've got experience all across New York State, I think, and I can give you lots of references if you want to talk to more than Geneva and Auburn. I think our scope is comprehensive. We can do it relatively quick. I said 5 months or less. I don't really know if there's a time driver here we can move. Ultimately, I have the next point is transferable. I intend to give you a financial model that we would develop with your staff that then you own it. And moving forward, if you want to run alternative scenarios, if say you have a big project at the wastewater plant and it's $20 million and it's going to cost you $2.5 million a year in debt service, someone can drop that in the model and say, what's the impact to the rates during your budget process? Right? So I want to leave you with a tool that you can use as a city, not just for water and wastewater, but how water and wastewater fit into the greater city financial picture. And then ultimately, probably my greatest passion is financial sustainability. Unfortunately, much of our infrastructure in this part of the country is over 100 years old. You know, our ancestors started building water systems in the middle 1800s. There probably are still wooden pipes in the ground. None of them are in use, okay? All the wood pipes are not used, but they're still buried there. And you've got architecture and things that is old, and you really need a smart, sustainable plan, okay? Councilman mentioned before one other aspect. I didn't touch on it here, but it reminded me. You do have what we call in the industry a rate base, and you do have a tax base, right? There are different customer groups. Some customers are paying rates, they're outside, they pay a wholesale rate or some other kind of rate. You have retail rate payers inside the city, you have taxpayers, you have non-for-profits, things like that. So there is some examination of that dynamic that usually goes on in this analysis so that you get that balance right. At the end of the day, you want the right people who are receiving benefit from the system to pay a cost that's commensurate with what it costs to serve them. That's what we're going for. And lastly, doing it yourself is certainly possible. I'm not going to pretend that I'm a rocket scientist, right? And I bet you you're all a lot smarter than I am. But I do have a wealth of experience in this, and I've seen some of the pitfalls when communities do this themselves. And they don't normally show up in year 1 or 2 or 3. It's usually 5, 10 years from now when things start to arrive at a crisis. Then you have a huge kind of correction. We call that rate shock. So rates may go up by 30% or something like that. Or in some cases, I've seen the EPA and the DOH come in with a consent order, things like that. Again, if you're on a plan and you're making the right steps each year, you can avoid that. It's hard to quantify the disruption to your departments, to your staff, even to your own political lives when something happens unexpected. I can't really quantify that. I can quantify, what you have in front of you and the cost, and it seems like a lot. I admit that to you. Like, for a small city that's, trying to be efficient and economical, I appreciate that very much. I don't take that lightly. But the cost of not doing it correctly can often far outweigh this kind of initial cost to set you on the right path. So I'll stop there. I hope that wasn't too much of a cheesy salesman, because that's not what I like to be. But any questions or thoughts? Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add something that relates to what Stephen's been talking about. So I know that we've discussed the importance of this, and I appreciate him, giving us the sales pitch for somebody else to do it. But the reason, or one of the reasons that he touched on that we really want to look into this is we must replace the lead pipes in our city by 2037, all of them. We have replaced 150 residences so far. And we have a $6 million grant coming in to do perhaps another 500 next summer. After that, there are no more grants. So we have to replace the remaining on our own with our money. That's a concern. And not only do we have to replace it, but we have to provide a plan to the DEC of how we intend to replace them. So that's one reason. The second reason, we've touched on it a little bit with a few of you, is our water tanks. Our water tanks in our city are 80 years old, minimum. We have a number of them. We've proposed a project to try to consolidate, fix, repair, do all of those things. $15 million. That's not replacing the old pipes, the ones that may rupture during the winter, because we have had winter recently, again. And it doesn't count inspecting those tanks. Every 5 years, we have to inspect them, which costs money. That's not part of our normal yearly budget. So that's more money that I'm going to come to you and say, I need this from water. The third item is we met with wastewater this week. They have $15 million in work that needs to be done today, yesterday. Out of the 40, right, that they have requested that said it would take to bring our plants back level with where they need to be. We've spent 20, 22. They've requested another 15, which means there's more out there. So when we look at the amount of money that we need to put into our infrastructure, because we haven't been, this was one of our proposals on how we may be able to provide a fair and reasonable way to get this money. So take that into consideration when you look at the $90,000 it may cost to do that, and compare it to the tens of millions of dollars that we need to invest before our tank collapses, our pipes deteriorate, you can't flush your toilet, things like that. So just take it into consideration.
So I really hate to be like a scaremonger. Like I that's against my nature. But thank you so much. I don't presume anything coming to you. You know your challenges better than I do. But what I do know is the upstate cities are really struggling. There's a huge financial cliff or mountain that we're all looking at upstate, and a good, solid plan that is justifiable to every ratepayer, ensuring that your bulk customers, your wholesale customers are paying their fair share, is really a foundational piece to this. You need that. If you have that, you can then better support your asset management plans, and with good asset management plans, you're better prepared to go for additional grant funding. Like, it all fits together. If you can articulate it compellingly, the granting agencies are more likely to give you money. Now, I don't promise anything outside of what you have now, because every city is facing this same challenge. But what I can tell you is that several cities have turned their water and wastewater fund around. Hard decisions, some public meetings, but generally the public has accepted it because it was understandable. So I have lots of ideas. I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes of methods that have been used in other places that you may consider here. And if I can't help you, then I would feel I haven't done my job. Yes, John?
So that you have a number of steps in your process.
Yes.
Does any of it involve some engagement for the public to help us talk through the conclusions you arrive at, or as your process develops?
Yeah, my proposal now doesn't contemplate a formal engagement. Right, I was giving you just the kind of the technical. We certainly can do that. Normally, this forum or something like this, I can do this no problem at all. I can come and talk, and often if you raise rates, you have to have a public hearing. I don't know if that's in your charter. So, I've often been asked to come to public hearings to help when there's a consideration of a rate adjustment. So those are easy. But I do think, there are other places that have put together a social media campaign about big projects. So this lead and copper issue, which I do think is, I don't want to speak, 30 to 40 million in that range, right? Or is it more? It's unknown because you have a lot of unknowns still, right? But tens of millions of dollars. To do that over 10 years means you're going to spend $3 to $4 million every year for the next 10 years. And that's over and above anything you're spending now. That's a campaign I think you should start to talk to your public about. And you have, you are doing that already. But as people understand that and they begin to be educated about it, when you get to the actual rate setting, so for instance, I'm working with a client right now, I won't say who it is, who is thinking about a capital infrastructure fee as opposed to a rate increase. And their capital infrastructure fee is like $3 a month, and it's going in because it's going to pay for lead. So the people, the city residents, find that much more acceptable than a nebulous 5% rate increase. I know that I'm going to pay this fee, and I know where the money's going. Again, there's lots of things we can talk about, but I find most people are rational. Most people want this city to succeed. Most people understand it's an aging city with aging infrastructure, and we have to reinvest. If we treat them with enough dignity, with clarity and an explanation, yes, there's always going to be people who, cry foul, and people who genuinely can't afford it. But most people will see that's just the reality of sustaining the place that we want our children to grow up in. Also, you can consider affordability rates. So if there truly is a hardship case, there are ways to deal with that. Again, I'm not sure that we want to go in that direction, but there's lots of options. So that's why I stress there is some policy issues that you can wrestle through during this process as well.
Counselor Meyer.
After reading some of this stuff, I think it's important that we have an outside source do the research. Again, they're a neutral party, and they're going to give us, assuming that they're going to give us the facts that we need to not only, it seems to me that in the past, everything's been arbitrary. It's we raise a rate, we lower a rate, without having facts and without looking down the road. We've been talking about kicking the can down the road, that's another thing. But looking down the road and looking in the future, if we have some kind of plan put in place that we can upgrade every year, every 2 years, whatever it is, and look at it and make this a sustainable thing where we're not raising rates by $30 or $40 or whatever the case may be, I think that's a much better way to look at how we proceed with our sewer and water rates. I think that this gentleman has proposed a fairly good plan, and I think it would benefit the city to look into something like this. And again, for future reference, not just for putting a Band-Aid on it and say, okay, we covered it this year, but 5 years down the road, we're going to be in trouble again, or 2 years down the road. I think that, looking down the road and seeing something for the future that would be sustainable for 10 years or 15 years, I think that's important for this council to consider. That's all I've got to say.
Counselor Thompson.
This question is actually for city attorney. Would this have to go out to bid? Or could the city award it directly to one firm?
Good question, Counselor. Typically, there is a competitive bidding process, but this would be classified as professional services. It's a unique subset of skills that not everyone has, and so it's really your choice. You would be justified in contracting with professional services, and that's a specific carve-out or exception to the procurement policy. So it's it's your choice. You have justification for hiring this firm, though, if you chose to do that.
Okay, thank you. And then my second question for you is, it was mentioned that there is a lot of potential legal issues if we raise rates for, like, for instance, one of our outside towns that we provide services to, and they think it's unfair. Have you experienced that in your profession?
Yes, not to the extent that it's resulted in formal legal action. Usually, it results in a lot of negotiation, and you try to work it out best you can. And ultimately, though, in some cases, one side's not going to feel like they got the best deal. But any of the agreements that I've been involved in, they've worked it out. Now, at the end of it, did everyone go home feeling like it was great? No, but they worked it out, and everyone used good faith to get to an agreement.
Thank you. I'd like to just mention that, spending, we would be spending taxpayers' money in order to determine a rate, which this council is responsible for setting those rates. We do have experience in data analysis right here on this council. I've offered and actually started the process of doing the analysis. There's a lot more information I still have to gather, but I find it very difficult to spend upwards of like $100,000 of taxpayers' money to do something that I think we could do in-house. Will it be 100% perfect right out the door? Absolutely not, but I guarantee you this will not be either, because not every customer is metered. So that was not towards you. It's just when we don't have customers at our meter. So you can't have 100% accuracy. But could we get 95%? Yeah, absolutely. But we have to know expected capital projects coming up, how much of that will be paid with grants or bonded. So all that data still has to be collected no matter who does it. I've already collected all the contracts this past week to start analyzing that, putting that into my calculation. So to me, it's a really tough sell to a customer or to residents that, hey, let's spend money when we haven't even tried to do it ourselves first. That's my opinion.
Councilor Lonzak.
In your proposal, it says a lump sum of $90,000 includes all labor, overhead, and reimbursement expenses. Then I was looking at your PowerPoint where it says on the last page the related services provided. Not every city has all related services provided. So does that include all of the services?
Does my proposal include it? Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why haven't, I don't see a single city or town in here that has taken you up on every single service.
What are you referring to? I'm not,
Your last PowerPoint, number 8, page, or PowerPoint 8.
the project team?
It says community water and related services provided, and then you have check mark boxes next to the towns and cities.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, those, well, there's a wide variety of needs.
Sure.
Some were, consent order driven, some were a financial crisis like this. You also can see, I think there are like web page related services, so there was outreach and other things. So that was just to show the broad range of communities that we're doing related work for. So I wouldn't interpret it beyond that.
Okay.
It was for their specific needs and what they've asked for.
Okay.
Some are out of state. There's different state agencies governing different, requirements.
Councilor Meyer?
You said in your presentation that you cover us if we have a lawsuit or something that comes against us. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now, I guess this is a question for Kevin. If we did this, if we went out and we did this information, put a packet together, and we got sued by, say, Scriba, that's going to come out of the city, correct? I mean, because we have no one else to rely on. If we did, if we put a program together and Scriba decided to sue us, or Oswego Town or something, that's going to be litigation that we're responsible for, correct?
Well, we'd have to, yeah, I guess it'd be the nature of the litigation. We'd have to look at it, but we do have insurance. Maybe it's covered through insurance. Too many variables to give you a definitive answer, but, if we were sued, we'd have to defend it. The question becomes who assists us in that defense. I think what's being proposed here is that they would cooperate, and I don't believe they're saying we'll indemnify and hold you harmless and all the rest of it, but we will cooperate and be a cooperative witness, if you will, for your legal action.
And you'll have a specific valid reasoning and steps for why we didn't just pick it out of a hat and decide we're going to charge them 3 times more because we want to. That's where the legal ramifications.
I won't pretend to fill his shoes. Right? I'm not the legal guy. But the legal standard from a long history of case law is it can't be arbitrary. You have to prove that you were intentional, had a good rationale. So the safest way, in my opinion, is to follow the industry guidance from AWWA or the Water Environment Federation, okay? Those are mature rate-setting methodologies that have stood up in court. If you follow that, what I would suspect, I can't go further than that, is you would avoid a court case because you would have the justification to show to your companions, your partners, and demonstrate that it truly is equitable and fair. So we've avoided all of that, but of course, if it got to that, it would be our recommendation to you, so I'd have to stand behind that and explain that. So, yes.
Councilor Kennedy.
Yes, thank you. So, sorry, I just lost my train. So, with that being said about the potential, which doesn't sound like it happens all the time, but it can happen, the suing of other, so we, the city of Oswego, have supply water to a lot of the surrounding municipalities, and I think that, especially if we have to, I think the city engineer said 2037, right? We have to replace everything. This is a good investment in at least 10-year, if not longer, plan that I don't have any experience or anything working on water and sewer rates. I'm going for my doctorate in business, but that doesn't mean I know anything about what you do, Stephen. So the council might have collective experience in different things. John has experience in insurance, but does he have experience in water and sewer rates and how that works with federal guidance? Probably not. So investing in our future, especially if we have pretty much a firm deadline of when we have to especially get things fixed. So I would say that I appreciate your presentation, and I think it's kind of hard to argue against somebody that does this for a living, if you will, to argue against not funding this kind of project. And I guess my only hesitation is, it's going to be a hard sell to our constituents, because it's almost $100,000 for sure. But at the end of the day, it's not just about right now, it's about 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, that we want to keep the city going and running smoothly. So,
Can I share an anecdote to kind of follow up on this discussion? So about 12 years ago, I helped the city of Auburn negotiate with its 5 wholesale sewer customers following legal action by one of the towns against the city, where a judge literally set the rate. And we went, very acrimonious, been acrimonious for 50 years between the city and the towns that they served. We did a regional cost of service study. We brought everyone together. They signed an agreement, and there's been not a single problem with wastewater rates since that time. Last year, they called me back and said, we need to do the same thing with water, because our water wholesale customers are starting to feel like we're unfairly charging them. And so literally right now, I am leading a study and a rate setting process that includes 14 communities across all of Cayuga County, with Auburn being the source of water. And what has happened, there's 4 or 5 wholesale customers that then sell water downstream to another 10 communities, and then a couple sell even further. And there are literally people that pay 10 times as much for water just 2 towns away because of these types of markups. And then there's a budget crisis, so we raised the rate by 20%. So I have seen, and I can speak about that publicly because that was very public, and it's a success story in Cayuga County on the wastewater side, and we are replicating it on the water side now again 10 years later. So that's one of the things I'm actually very pleased I've been able to help them with. So.
Councilor Fitzgibbons.
Just one note I'd make is what fee is charged for the professional services would be paid by a ratepayer, I believe, because it would be rate oriented, and not a taxpayer. So it would be coming from an enterprise account. So it would be from validating the charges for those industrial customers. They should be contributing to the cost of this rate study. They are obviously the benefactor of good information, and across the system of people that use services in and outside the city, having that paid for by the ratepayer is correct, because what we're doing is trying to establish fair rates that take into consideration long-term capital investments that the system requires to be compliant. We own a system that we've invested 150 years into or beyond, and it has a value to the community. We need to have the ratepayers properly contribute and be part of our system, and the cost of projecting into the future what the cost of maintaining that system should be fair and equitable. That's what I would say.
John, to build on that, this proposal actually is for 2 rate studies, okay? Because they are separate enterprise funds. You can't commingle the funds. And indeed, presumably, this would be an administrative cost of each fund. So the cost eventually would go back to the sewer ratepayers and the water ratepayers. 2 independent studies that, again, now I'm being a salesman a little bit. By doing them together, I can give greater economies. If you were to do one by itself and then the other, you know, a few years later, it would be more effort. By doing 2 separate studies together overlapping, because it's the same customer base, however, the methodologies are different. One of your system is a pressurized system that you pump. The other one is largely a gravity system that flows in. And that's why I mentioned the American Water Works Association Manual 1 that governs the water rate study, and the Water Environment Federation Manual 27 that governs the wastewater study. So there's actually 2 studies, and we price them each at $45,000. So for clarity's sake, if that helps.
So it's a buy one, get one free.
Well, no. Listen, I very much appreciate the councilman here. In fact, as much as I can, I encourage communities like your city to do what they can do in-house. I commend you when you do things in-house. And if you feel that you have the expertise to do that, the staff has the time to pull this together, I would commend you, and I'd be pleased. I do think I can help because I've seen a lot of this, and I've had enough small cities ask for my help that it allows me to have at least a little bit of confidence when I say that up here. So.
And just in response to whether or not we can do it in-house, could we become experts? Sure, we could. We could become experts in anything. I could become a plumber in a few years if I wanted to. But do we have a few years to learn? Do you have the time to dedicate after your job, your family, your life, to run these numbers, create these formulas, these spreadsheets, read the documentation? The engineering department is myself, Wes, and Joe, 3 people, to do water, wastewater, roads, traffic, you know, the list is never ending. So yes, could we become experts in this? Yes, we could, but it would take a lot longer than 5 months.
Steve, does your company review the outstanding contracts from existing users?
Yes.
You do all that? Do you physically inspect like the water towers and everything?
No, well, my company is a full-blown engineering company. Yes, but in this scope, we wouldn't do any physical inspection, but I'm sure we do that all the time, you know.
Yes, so we had inspections done of all of our water towers in 2018. We have proposals for what needs to be done to each to keep it moving forward, and they recommend inspections every 5 years. So we're already 3 years late.
Okay.
thankfully, if we can move forward with one of the projects going on right now, that would eliminate 2. And that was one of the cost savings that was brought to our attention, was that by removing one tank instead of repairing it and rehabilitating it, it actually will save us money over the long run, over the 40-year lifespan, just based on inspections and maintenance. So if we can remove one tower, I know we're getting into multiple things, but if we remove one tower and connect the piping, replace pumps and booster pump stations, we're actually saving the city money rather than spending less money up front. So that, I think, is the benefit that we get from companies from GHD that do these inspections and do these studies and feasibility options, is they look at the life cycle costs of these things and help us decide, yeah, it looks like spending $8 million or $800,000 to repair it now is the best idea, except for when you look at the long-term cost of that, it may not be.
Anybody else have any questions, any concerns? Mayor Cordino.
Sorry.
Hi, Stephen, I don't think we met. Ron Cordino.
Yes, nice to
Nice to meet you. How about now? Councilors, I've sat here and listened for the past, 45 minutes, hour, and I'm so happy that we're having this conversation. I think you understand where I've come from, being on the council for 8 years, mayor's 2.5 years. I've been here during the time when this common council, not this common council, but in December of 2015, I sat right over there and watched them raise rates to water and sewer to $1,100 a year from, I think it was $700 or $800. And that was basically to cover the consent decree work. So as I'm listening to Liz, and of course, we've been in a lot of meetings, and I know all about the sewer separation, or the lead service line separation, the water tank on Allen Street, all the pipes that we have to replace. I almost think that this is this generation's consent decree. It really is, if you think about it. That council, about 15 years ago, had an enormous budget in front of them. It was over $80 million. To separate the sewer pipes, the sanitary sewers from the water, from the freshwater sewers. So what I'm pointing out is that was a daunting task, over $80 million. And the good news was that we ended up completing that project under less than, let me see, we're 2 years shy of what the deadline was, and it was less than $60 million. So again, you're tasked with another huge task in front of you. The fact that this is your consent decree moment, you might say, that you've got a big number in front of you, a big task in front of you, and I like what you've presented here today. By the way, I'd like an email with all the PowerPoint. I wasn't included in that. So if you can send that to me, I'd appreciate it. But I think whatever you do, you got to do something. I tried to do something back in December of last year. I tried to do something in February of this year. I'm just so happy that we're talking about it today. And I understand Councilor Thompson's reservations here, but you may not get all 7 people to agree on this. I can tell you right now, in 2015, it was 5-2 to raise rates to $1,100 a year. So it was 5-2. I remember that because I was sitting right over here. So if you go forward and you have a vote on his proposal, it may not be unanimous, but at least you're moving forward. Whether you do it in-house, whether you do it with Stephen and GHD, who I can say categorically that GHD has done a wonderful job for years and years. For, I mean, you were, not you personally, but GHD was involved in the consent decree, right? I had a meeting the other day and met Cameron. Randy Cameron, and he said he was right. His first job was to work on the consent decree in 2015 for 2014 or 12. That's what it was for the city of Oswego. So again, I think whatever you do something, whether it's in-house, whether it's going with GHD, but make a motion, not a motion, but a step forward to get this done, because the longer you wait, the longer that we're not losing money, but we're going in the wrong direction with the sewer. And the water fund is not as bad from my calculations, but still, both should be analyzed, and I think that's a great idea that, to do both at the same time. So that's my spiel, and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm not a salesman either, but I did my best.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilor Fitzgibbons.
Because I put the item on for discussion tonight, I didn't intend that we would have a motionable resolution pass for contractual services, because I do think that as we walk down this path, we need to have consensus of the community and a conversation. But I clearly think it is the path that I support, and I would like to know that we would consider it as a motionable item at our next committee meeting to move forward, or at least have it out there to consider to move forward, and then everyone will have an opportunity to vote specifically on the contract or the decision to move forward. I appreciate the time and effort that, of Stephen Wadvogel for joining us tonight. I think it is a fork in the road, and I appreciate that you know, communities have hurdles before them, and everyone has to make some hard decisions. And I think this will help us frame what will be a generational struggle to catch up for infrastructure for our community, and we need to do that in a thoughtful way to project to the residents a stable plan and an opportunity for the community to have a sustainable plan for its improvement. So that's what I have.
Do you have anything else? Questions or comments? Not going to get a motion to adjourn the Administrative Services Committee, please. Councilor Lautensack, Councilor Meyer.
Councilor Plunkett?
Yes.
Councilor Meyer?
Yes.
Councilor Fitzgibbons?
Yes.
Councilor Lonsack?
Yes.
Councilor Ashline?
Yes.